Zoom room. We're so happy because parang 400 na. Nasa 400 na tayo and we're just starting or even around mga
Yeah,
230. Ang dami na nila.
ang daming nakaabang agad.
Yeah, ayan. So we can already see people coming in and sharing their greetings. We have Coach Ben joining us this afternoon. So for those of you who have joined us last January, you know that Coach Ben also was one of our resource speakers. Thank you so much for joining us. Yan, go ahead, Daffy. Sino-sino yung mga nakikita mo sa chat box?
Okay, so we have here Jocelyn from NGCP La Union. Tapos, Lizelle Orente from Bacolod City. Good afternoon. How about you, Dabi?
Yeah, I think Coach Val is also here from Sola. Hi, Coach Val. Nice to have you here. We also have Katrina Fernandez. We also have Cheryl, Michael. Good afternoon, everyone. So if you could also share with us the organization you're representing this afternoon, we'd love to know which organizations are you from. Or you can even share with us which part of the Philippines or the globe you are calling from. So I can see names we've been seeing since last year. So we have Alessia joining us again this afternoon. Yan. Daffy, meron ka pa bang bagong nakikita sa ating roster of learners?
Oo, parang ngayon ko lang siya nabasa or ngayon ko lang napansin. We have someone here from UP Los Baños.
Oh.
Baka ngayon ko lang napansin.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon for those joining us for the first time this afternoon. Yan, we have Delia from BGC. We have Christian from Cebu City. We also have Go ahead.
We also have here CJ from Invest Ed Philippines.
Yeah.
And from Bestlink College of the Philippines, Virginia Falls. Hello.
Yeah. We have Shenette from General Santos City. Ang daming joining us from General Santos City. Yung isa, Robota Concepts Inc. Si Rogie. Hi, Rogie. Si Geraldine. Yeah? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. We have here Aktani from Bulacan State University main campus. Good afternoon.
Yan, si Geraldine yung nakita ko from Lung Center. Nasa kabilang kanto ko lang. Hi, Gerald. Yan. Ang dami, I'm actually seeing a lot of new organizations joining us this afternoon, Daffy. May mga bago ko nakita. Parang si Price Gases Inc. Hi, Nico. I think it's your first time that your company is joining us this afternoon.
Oh, yeah. That's the first time I've read that company.
Yan. Robansi is a freelance journalist from India. So we also have someone from India joining us this afternoon.
What?
Yan. Daffy, so habang nag-introduce din sila sa chat box, meron tayong pinrepare na it's like a check-in, pero we really also want to have fun with everyone this afternoon. So I'm pretty sure for those of you who are using social media, you've been seeing the, ano man tawag sa kanya? The trend. The trend.
Oh, trend yun.
Ano yung trend?
Yung trend is, okay, sasabihin ko na yung nasa check-in natin.
Okay.
Tama ba? Okay. Yung check-in natin today is, I'm a webinar participant. Of course, tapos dudugtungan nyo. Say, for example, yung trend kasi is, kunyari, ako. Wait lang, wala ko mag-isip. I'm a Gen Z. Of course, connected kami lagi sa social media. Parang ganon.
Yeah. So natin siyang PW aligned. So,
yeah.
Gawin natin, I'm a P-webinar participant. Of course, we So, feel free. Alam mo, napaisip din ako kasi before I started here, participant din naman ako ng webinars. So, parang
Hey!
siguro,
Ako din.
ayan. Ikaw, may naiisip ka ba para maybe they have a template kung ano yung pwede nilang
Ako, yung sa akin actually, nung nabasa ko yung prompt, nakalagay, ang sabi ko is, I'm a P-webinar participant. Of course, we block our Wednesdays for P-webinar. So,
Wow! Yung sinabi ni Raymond, yung nauna kong naisip for a lot of people. Of course, certificate ng habol namin. Kaya love na love niyo si Joyce, di ba?
yeah.
Ayan. So,
Wow!
we already have 16 entries. Ang saya. Sige, pasok nyo lang. So, I'm a P-webinar participant. Of course, I will record this session. Gawin ko rin yung dati. Kasi kasabay siya nung time ng work ko before. So, I record it so I can watch it afterwards.
Actually, ako din, nire-record ko din siya dati. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Tapos, late ko lang kasi nalaman na it's available pala on YouTube.
Yeah! Tapos parang before, hindi pa naman siya nilalagay din sa YouTube. Kaya hindi na.
Yeah. So, if ever na gusto nyong balikan ang ating mga session, pwede kayong pumunta sa ating YouTube channel.
Yes! Ayan. So, magbasa tayo ng iba na nandito. And bantayan mo rin yung chat kasi feeling ko maraming
Sure.
So, dito sa Menti, we are learning and having fun. Ayan. Gusto ko yung suki na sila sa Menti. Ayan, Daffy. What about you?
We have here's a chat from Val. Of course, we believe in developing positive and meaningful workplaces. Wow, that's so nice.
Very aligned yung mga purpose ng companies, mission, vision of the companies. Yan, dito naman, lagi akong excited sa mga speaker. Alam mo, ako din. Nung nagsisimula ako sa P-webinars, natutuwa ako. Kahit ako yung nag-i-invite ng speakers. Tuwang-tuwa pa rin ako to know what they will share during the session. Yan. What else?
Actually, nakaka-relate din ako dun sa excited sila sa speakers. Kasi parang, you never know what you're going to get with P-webinar. So, very exciting.
Yes.
We have here, I'm a P-webinar participant. Of course, to be with positive workplace, I'm connected to the world. Wow.
Wow. Ayan. Nakakatuwa talaga yung certificate is life. We hear you. So we can really see, kung hindi nga ako nagkakamali, parang love of learning or yung learner na talent team yung top, nagta-top dito sa Philippines. So we can really see how Filipinos are also really willing to learn. Nandun yung motivation nila to learn. Ayan. Merong we will listen attentively. Ano pa? We make time for Wednesday wellness webinars.
Oh.
This is nice. Yan. I need 2 gadgets all throughout this session. Daffy, ikaw talaga. Feeling ko kasi yung reminder. Yan. Merong ding nag-search para dun sa mga speakers. Nagmo-multitask sila while doing the workload. So, para nang cast style, di ba?
Oo.
Ayan. So, excited to willing to learn on this webinar yung sabi ni April. Sino pa? Of course, I want the certificate. Kung hindi po kayo nag-iisa, madami yung madaming kasama. Ayan. Sige, let's maybe read 5 more before we proceed. So if you have colleagues, if you have friends who want to join us this afternoon, we would love for you to invite them. We're around how many in the room na, Daffy? Sorry. 700. So we still have 300 if you want to join in the conversation. And if not, Joyce will be sharing the YouTube link so that you can also watch if you cannot enter the Zoom room anymore. Okay, so ayan, attentive sa new learning to apply sa workplace at sa life na din. relate ako dito kasi parang the things that we learn here, hindi lang siya yung pang workplace. Parang it's also a way to
So,
improve our relationships outside of work.
yes. We also have here, may nagsabi na, of course, palaging may inaabangang positive learning. Bonus na lang yung certificate.
Yes. Siyempre, eventually, di ba gusto natin maging internally motivated yung people to learn. So, hindi lang dahil dun sa certificate na
Yes.
provide natin. Yan.
Meron
So,
din dito na ano, I
sige.
am inclined with personal and professional growth. So, related siya dun sa sinabi mo na yung whatever we learn in this webinar na apply din natin sa hindi lang sa ating career life, kundi sa ating personal life din.
Yes. And kitang-kita nag-screenshot sila. Dalawa yung gadget. Nagre-record sila. And I'm sure may mga nagno-notes din for some. Ayan. So thank you so much for participating in our quick check-in. And it's already 3:10. So I think it's time that we start our discussion this afternoon. So we are going to continue our topic on the Positive Leaders Toolkit, the power of positive connections and communications. So again, I'm Gabby, and together with me this afternoon are, go ahead, Daffy.
Hello, I am your co-host. My name is Daphne. I am a training and development intern. And joining us behind the screen is Joyce, our learning and development associate.
Yan, so please give Joyce a shout out kasi yung mga
Yeah.
certificate ang habol, si Joyce talaga yung humaharap ng mga inquiries nyo, and she also prepares the certificate for you guys. So again, we're positive workplaces, and our mission is that we co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce, and we are able to do that through what we call the positivity ripples, and it all starts with the self. So, di ba parang 2 weeks ago, we asked them if they can, parang if they want to be called something, like tayo as a community here in Positive, in the free webinars. May mga nagsabi
Mm.
ripplers, and I think dito nila nakuha yon na it's really about the positivity ripples, di ba? That starts with the self. So you, by attending these webinars, by applying what you have learned, you're able to lead yourself, lead others, and really create those positive cultures so that you can have a positive workplace. So go ahead, Daphne. Take it away. Setting reminders this afternoon.
Okay, so now we have some reminders before we start our webinar. Have another device with you because we will be sending links for interactions like Pigeonhole for the Q&A and Mentimeter for an activity para ready kayo makapag-participate. We'll also be sending the links in the chat box. Kaya okay lang if hindi dalawa yung devices na gamit nyo for today's webinar. And for all the webinars of e-webinar series. Then, next we have a paper and pen ready to take notes of what you learned sa ating discussion. Kasi for sure, marami tayong matututunan today and pwede nating mabalikan ito by taking notes. Lastly, we encourage engagement in the chat, but please be reminded lang din to be respectful to everyone. Okay?
Yes.
Next, the
Ay,
link for the
may
evaluation form.
ay, wait lang. Wait lang, Daphne, dun sa respect, i-add ko lang
Okay, okay.
to follow up your certificates, or like may mga inquiries kayo about it, please also be sure to be respectful in the emails. Ayan, so that we can also practice what we learn in our sessions. Ayan, so take it away. Take it away again.
Okay, so the link for the evaluation form na gustong gusto ng lahat will be given at the end of the webinar. And good news, it will also be available for those attending via YouTube. However, the catch is the link will only be open up to 30 minutes after the webinar ended. So make sure to stay until the end to be able to get your e-certificate. While filling in the evaluation form, tandaan niyo po yung acronym na TEN, which stands for title, email, and name. Make sure na yung title is the same as the title ng webinar for today. Then your email should also be working because that's where we'll be sending your e-certificate. Lastly, make sure your full name is spelled correctly since your e-certificates are automatically generated. Some last reminders. If you have any concerns about evaluations or certificates, you may email us at engage@positiveworkplaces.org. We will only entertain inquiries up to 1 week after the event. And nabanggit na ni Gabby, please be kind when following up or sending in your inquiries.
Yeah, and send positive vibes to Joyce whenever you check in on your certificate. So thank you so much, Daffy, for those reminders. And I think we're really ready to welcome our resource speaker this afternoon. So last week we were with Jen and sila ni Cookie, they were able to talk about pakikipag-ugnayan, creating a culture of connection at work. And they gave us some tips and they even shared some prompts that we can use to be able to deepen our conversations at work. And now we're going to discuss building rapport and trust communication strategies for effective coaching relationships. So it is our pleasure to introduce to you our resource speaker this afternoon because he was a former employee of Positive Workplaces. Actually, batchmate ko siya. Kasi di ba we have interns. So may sarili silang batch. So nung nag-apply kaming dalawa, sabay kami ni David na pumasok. We were in the same year and month na pumasok kami. So, and now he has his own organization that he's starting up, and we're really proud about his progress and his journey. So let us all welcome a professional coach and the founder of Happy Minds, David Esteliore. Hi, David!
Hello, Gabby. Nice to see you again and everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'll be sharing my screen, no? Tama ba? I can share my screen na.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the warm welcome and nakikita ko na yung vibe ng crowd. Looks like they're all excited for una yung certificate pero more than that, the learning. So I'm happy that everyone is here and everyone has time to to engage, no, to learn something new today. And our topic today is actually pretty interesting and it's absolutely what I love about my work. So it's about building rapport and trust. No, I think I want to check in the comments. No, what kind of work do you guys do? Anong work kayo or if you guys are not working, students pa ba kayo? I want to know in the chat. No, administrative staff, nurse, teacher, HR, teacher. Okay, chemist. Wow, halo-halo. College instructor, may students. Ang dami. Okay, educator, social worker, youth ministry. Ano pa ba? Student, HR, librarian. So mukhang diverse, no? I'm seeing that we have a like a broad scope of people attending this webinar. We're around 700 plus, I think, from the last time I checked. So this topic, I feel like building rapport and trust, even if you're not a coach, like kami nila Coach Val, just wanted to shout out everyone. You can still use these skills, no? Kasi you would wonder in the title, communication strategies for effective coaching relationships. Kahit hindi ka leader, you can still use this even if in your daily relationships. So ako, these techniques are helping me so much. For example, if I have a friend who who wants to open up about something, and for me, I want them to be able to feel safe, 'di ba? So what I'm happy with is at least what I'll be teaching. Even if it's like a coaching skill that I learned from Sola in a different organization as well. These are applicable even in your life, no? So later on, I'll be asking saan nyo siya i-apply, no? And I hope na you can find where you want to apply it throughout our session. Okay? Okay, so I want to introduce myself first. Okay lang ba? Para lang you have a bit of idea of who I am. So I founded Happy Minds just last year. No, it's about life strengths and ADHD because I was also diagnosed with it. Um, and my my purpose for it was really a love letter for people who feel different. No, so I'm a professional coach since 2022, and I help individuals with ADHD and even those without work on life their strengths and even their neurodivergence, no? So my vision is really to have a burnout-free world where everyone can fully embrace their unique mind, and especially for neurodivergent individuals. And I do that through one-on-one coaching. So pwede siya about life, relationships, or career. I do workshops as well, like this one, medyo mini workshop siya, and learning content about life strengths and ADHD, and with the hopes to improve people's subjective well-being. Okay? So I'm fortunate enough na because of my coaching experience and learning, no, I'm now doing coaching for an organization called Future Academy. They're in the UK. I'm also helping with a project called Next Us, and we're doing coaching for college students. I'm also a coach, an internal coach in eco-resilience initiatives. We're a research nonprofit looking into biodiversity and environment. And I was a talent management associate at Positive Workplaces. And also, my close community as well is Sola, no? Kaya they're here to support, no? They helped me learn a lot about coaching. And sila Coach Bal, Coach Lian, they're all here. Sina-shoutout ko lang. Okay. So that's it about me. Nice to meet you all, and I hope that you'll enjoy this workshop, no? So ito yung mga socials of Happy Minds. If ever you feel like you want coaching, feel free to reach out, no? Or if you're curious about what I do, go lang. Okay, let's go. Kanina nag-remind na. For this session, have a Menti browser ready or even a separate device, no? I won't go into this anymore ng sobra. Okay, so ito yung three topics na we'll be talking about. Um, Una is, why is building trust difficult for some leaders? I put in some, no, kasi for some they're okay na, no, parang they can build trust easily. It's within their skill set to already build trust. Next is, what mindset shift can help us build trust? And from a coaching perspective, I'll be teaching like what I use all the time and how coaching helps me at least build trust with people a lot. And lastly, but not the least, how can we practice a coaching mindset in the conversation? The fun thing about this, ina-spoil na kayo kung anong mindset shift yung sinasabi ko. It's a coaching mindset that I use a lot even in other conversations I have, even in non-coaching conversations. Kaya, ayun, we will be doing these three. Kamusta naman? Kaya ba? Tingin nyo kaya naman? Can you guys let me know in the comments? Kaya pa ba? Tatlo ang topic natin. Kaya, sabi ni Jai. Thank you, Jai. Sabi ni Dean says, no? Dean says. Okay, kayang-kaya daw. Okay, let's go. Let's start. So let's start with the first one. I have a question in Menti. If you can scan this QR code or dito kayo sa Zoom, may pinost si Daffy na Menti link. What do you usually feel when you know you made a mistake, nagkamali ka on something, and you have to inform someone about it? No? Pwede po makahingi ng code for the Menti. Ito, it's in the bottom of the screen. If it's a code, it's 86526848. And once you get in, you can answer this question. So this can be any experiences, no? What do you usually feel when you know you made a mistake and have to inform someone about it? Ako, halimbawa, one of my experiences of it is may mali ako halimbawa in terms of expectation kung kailan ko matatapos yung isang project. Tapos nahihiya ako kasi sinabi ko, hindi, kaya yan. Kaya yan at this date. Tapos biglang na-overwhelm ako, ang dami palang kailangan gawin. To the point na mukhang hindi pala kaya. And I have to tell my partner about it na, okay, this project na we have, hindi ko pala kaya. Nagsabi si James in the comments, afraid, no? So, that's a valid, no? Ako, most of the time, I feel afraid when that happens. Okay, so let's look at the comments, no? So the question is, what do you feel when you know you made a mistake and you have to inform someone? Words natin ay worried, embarrassed, sabi ni CB ba to sa chat, sad, ang daming nagsasabi, worried, shy, ito, embarrassed, anxious, okay, anxious, terrified, guilty, and shy. Like the world's ending. Ang bigat nito, like the world is ending. Anxious, ito to learn. I like this kasi parang you're not having a negative feeling out of it. Nervous, frustrated, embarrassed, apologize and move on. Okay, that's interesting. You want to immediately say it. Okay, gusto mo masabi agad to the person. Ano pa ba? You're worried. Anxiety first. I like this. Anxiety first. Nauuna yung anxiety. You feel guilty, afraid, anxious. Okay. So mukhang so ang lakas kinakabahan daw. Sobrang sinisigaw niya. So thank you for sharing these. No, I won't be able to go through a lot. Pero I'm seeing, I'm reading na all of these revolve around the theme of anxious, shy, afraid, guilty, no? All of these are somewhat nasa kinakabahan. Hindi naman negative na sobra, pero there's some semblance of negative feeling. So you feel anxious, you feel devastated, tense, 'di ba? These are all somewhat, tama ba? Somewhat negative. You overthink, no? And we see with the data majority. Majority are feeling this way. So you have to see with this pa lang, if I were to put out a survey, makikita natin na when we make a mistake, majority of the feeling na we have, let's say in the Filipino context, or I think we have guests in India, are somewhat negative or in the side of anxiety, no? In the side of you're scared because you made a mistake, no? So that's data in itself. So we see na maybe sa culture natin, ang immediate reaction natin is kabahan agad, right? We immediately feel nervous when it happens. And thank you for sharing those. I'm happy that everyone participated. Tapos sabi ni Jelly, hindi daw dapat mag-overthink. Ayan, pero that's a question. Why are we overthinking? No, Jelly? Um, so let's explore that with our first question earlier. Why is it difficult for some leaders to build trust? No? And this can be even outside of leadership. This can be within your family, within your friends circle. Bakit minsan it's hard to build trust with the people around you, right? And I want to build on your answers earlier. Earlier we said na mukhang it's because our initial reaction or our initial feeling is really we feel afraid. We feel afraid. So I'll be sharing from the perspective of a young professional and leader. For some context, I graduated only recently and I've been doing coaching for a while. No? So I think bad leaders make people feel awful. That's it. So yung kanina, yung sinasabing overthinking, you feel like the world is ending. Ito yung naging gist ko. Bad leaders make people feel awful. And for me, my experience of it, I've had an experience with a bad leader. Yung nagiging effect niya becomes physical. Ang nafe-feel ko whenever I receive a text or even a call is I feel like puking. Feel ko nasusuka ako. Feel ko gusto kong itapon lang phone ko. I shut down. I feel like puking talaga. So they make us feel awful. Ako, my anxiety goes up. I overthink. I go into a fight or flight sort of response. And it's hard for me to function. It makes me feel na it's difficult to get out of bed. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to stay at work. I want to go home. And like I said, a text message. A text message is enough to make me feel awful about myself. And that's the thing. You feel awful about yourself. So my gist here is they're not creating a psychologically safe space. No? Ito may mga comments tayo na I think I just want to highlight. So si Prince said they feel threatened na mas magaling ang subordinates nila. Okay, di ba? Bad leaders, they feel threatened because you don't know his or her mindset. However, if you take risks, you make success. Okay. Meron dito, difficult to build trust if there is a gap between you and the leader. War flashbacks daw, sabi ni Alicia. Can I talk to you for a minute? Ayan. Yan. Pag nakikita ko yung text na yan, yung chan ko kumukulo na. Nahirapan na ako. And there were times, no, of course, I was assertive. And si Alicia and Suzette were sharing. May time na assertive ako, sabi ko, hey, I think in terms of feedback, I want to receive it in this way. Ayokong agad-agad. I think better for me if we schedule a separate call. Ang response niya sa akin is, chill ka lang. Chill ka lang. Mag-feedback lang naman. Di ba? Bakit ka ganyan? And that was difficult for me, no? Kasi I asserted already. Pero in-undermine niya, nararamdaman ko. So they're not creating a psychologically safe space. That's the thing about it. Pero, tingnan mo, ang naging response natin is we have yung wars flashbacks and we go into a state of anxiety. No? So let's move on. A psychologically safe space is where a person can freely share their thoughts without judgment. Um, ang nangyayari kasi is whenever, for example, we share whatever thoughts we have, for some people, minsan may judgment agad. Di ba? Halimbawa, ako nag-share, "Ay, alam mo ba, I made this decision." Minsan may, halimbawa, gusto kong mag-invest in a certain workshop and everything else. Minsan may reaction agad na ano ba, hindi naman maganda yung workshop na yan, hindi naman maganda yung training. So minsan ako, I feel like, hala, mali yung ginawa ko. So whenever we, for example, may nag-open up sa atin, if diretso ka with your own judgment or whatever thoughts you have, sometimes it makes people feel unsafe, no? Eto, meron si Alicia sabi, "Wag ka masyadong sensitive." Minsan yung mga ganong comments, they hit hard, no? They make us feel unsafe. So a psychologically safe space is a space na you won't feel somewhat not threatened lang pero you won't feel unsafe, no? Safe space na nga, unsafe pa inaano ko. So, basically, there are a lot of impacts of a non-psychologically safe space, no? And I want to cite this article I saw by Amy Gallo. One is increased stress. And I've experienced that, no? There were times na I didn't want to go to work. There were times when I had the option to stay in a workshop place for, I think, 4 days, to stay there for all 4 days in a hotel. Pero I decided to go home from QC to Makati dahil lang ayoko magstay. It increases stress. It could lead to burnout. So for me, because of my constant anxiety and everything else, and me having difficulty with work already at that time, it led to burnout. I actually got myself checked and burnt out talaga ako. Another thing is it could negatively affect your performance. So for me, since nagkakaroon na ako ng reaction of anxiety, as in really bad anxiety from the leader, it was affecting my performance. No, there were times when parang I wouldn't see details I would usually see. Bad na nga yung attention to detail ko, pero mas hindi ko, mas lumala because health-wise, I wasn't getting good sleep. Nagre-react na talaga katawan ko eh. As in, bad bowel movement, uh, I think headache, a lot of headache. So, nararamdaman ng body ko. So, it affects my performance. So, this sums it up, no? Not having a psychologically safe space will impact well-being. Can you guys let me know if you agree with this or if may argument ka against it? Let me know in the comments if you have, no? So sabi ni Lizel, yes. Si Alicia, yes na yes. Kasi I want to validate your experience, Alicia, no? If you've experienced that form of invalidation in the workplace, I hope you're doing okay and you're recovering from it. Sabi ni Zen, agree daw, leaders should make room for each and every member. Yeah, everyone agrees from my initial look into the comments. No? So thank you for listening and and agreeing with this. Let's move forward. Pero, there are a lot of benefits kasi. It's not a pero, no? And there are lots of benefits kasi with a safe space, no? And I want to know if you guys agree with these as well, no? One is more engaged and motivated, yung people you're with. Like I said, no, hindi lang to for the workplace, pwedeng with your friends din. Halimbawa, being more motivated, they can speak up without fear because they feel like their work matters. For my friends, ang usual when I'm with them, usually I ask like they're for their own ideas. They would feel like, oh, they don't need to be afraid of sharing their own ideas. Kasi ako, I acknowledge their presence as well. It can lead to better decision making since they'll be more comfortable voicing out their concerns and ideas. So, hindi na sila matatakot to share their ideas. So, anong nangyayari when you're brainstorming, lahat ng ideas na possible, nakukuha nyo na. Magde-deliberate na lang kayo which one should you go with. Um, and lastly, it can foster a culture of learning. Since people will be comfortable sharing their mistakes and learning from them, bibilis ang learning. In my opinion, when you're, parang it's the fail fast saying, no? Fail fast so you can learn faster, parang ganun. So, since you're no longer you're no longer ashamed of sharing your mistakes or failing in general, mas madali sa'yo matuto. Right? It's easier for you to learn. We have a comment, no, sabi ni Maria, being genuinely heard, not just being heard. No? We can actually achieve growth and enhancement for ourselves and to others. Ayan, that's a benefit of a safe space. We can achieve growth. No? Thank you for sharing that, Grace. Sabi ng isa, nag-PM siya, when you're being rejected all the time, they will chat not to see them muna. There's no reason at all. Ano to, parang bigla lang sila magcha-chat, tapos wala namang reason. Yeah, that's very difficult. So, ayun, there are benefits to a safe space. Not just in the workplace, but even at home. No, at home, when you get to do that, people can share ideas, people won't be afraid of sharing their thoughts, their feelings, and what they did. No? So those are the benefits of safe spaces. Okay, so David, you've been sharing about the benefits of having a psychologically safe space, of having a space where you can share. Pero anong mindset shift ba yung sinasabi mo that can help us build trust? No? Um, so, ito na yung pattern natin, no? For us to gain trust, so people will share more and feel safe with us, we need to achieve psychological safety. And you hear that in every Positive Workplaces webinar. This is a psychologically safe space. Pero saying it is different from making it an actual safe space, no? Let's go to what mindset can actually build the psychologically safe space. And because I'm a coach, for me, it's the coaching mindset. And I'm sure the coaches around me here, sila Coach Val, will agree, no? And everyone else, hopefully later on, you can let me know. This is the most used mindset I have when helping my coaches and even when I'm talking with people, no? And I'd say it's a really powerful mindset that really aims to facilitate growth. That's the thing about it. So, in this, for this part, I want you guys to imagine yourself in a conversation with someone and you want that space to be psychologically safe. Mag-ano tayo? Not super role, pero to just understand how we can apply it with ourselves. So ngayon, isipin nyo, sino ba yung kausap ko? Sino yung gusto kong kausapin? Or yung usual na kumakausap sa akin na I would want to create a safe space for? Isipin nyo, sino ba yan? Is it anak nyo ba? Is it your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your family? Sino? No? Ay sabi ni Paula, family. Sige, you can comment it, no? Yung friends, yung family. Yung friends, of course, no? Ako, lagi kong ginagawa kasi I have calls with my friends. I need to make it a safe space. Sabi ni Sibyl ba to? Yung husband, Mariti, office mates daw, yung boss, athlete, family, colleagues, daughter, employees, husband. Sabi ni Aizel, yung husband daw. So, like I said, you can use whatever relationship you have. No? So, think about them now. Okay, so mukhang meron na lahat. Sige, let's move forward. So, ano ba tong coaching mindset? The coaching mindset are these three. It is very other-centered. Hindi ikaw, yung kausap mo. So, other-centered. It's not self. It's other-centered. Next is facilitates learning. And then last is zero judgment. Ano ba yung mga to? No, these are the simple things na I had to learn as a coach. Pero ano ba yung mga to and how do we apply them with our daily conversations? So una is other-centered. It's not about you. It's about them, no? What do I mean by this? Um, pag may mga conversations kayo and someone shares, di ba medyo natural sa atin yung reaction na, ay ako naranasan ko rin yan dati. Parang lagi natin nilalagay attention sa atin. Or meron ka na bang partner, I would say sa situations of let's say marriages or girlfriend boyfriend, ay yung mga ganito, mga relationships na parang you just wanted to share pero inunahan ka na nila na naranasan ko na rin yan and everything else, no? Sino mga nakaranas na nun? Sabi ni Dean says siya nga raw. Okay. Exactly. Ayan. So this is a not other-centered conversation. Let's say someone opens up, sasabihin niya, dati naranasan ko na rin yan, gets kita. Parang biglang, ako nga rin, naranasan ko yan dati. No? Biglang, they were opening up, biglang it became about you. Alam mo ba dati, ito yung nangyari sa akin eh. Biglang, ayan, sabi ni Dean says, shifting focus or pivoting. I like this, very interactive. From the focus being them, biglang pinunta mo sa'yo. So what I mean by other-centered is dapat sila. Kasi sila yung kausap mo. They're opening up. It should be about them. You know? So, we try to avoid this. Kasi of course, when you shift the focus, minsan they feel like, ano ba yan? Tungkol sa'yo na naman. Ayan, ito, biglang ikaw ang bida, sabi ni Kimberly. Ayaw natin yon. O, di ba kayo ayaw nyo? So, wag niyong gawin. Wag niyong gawin sa iba. Okay, next, let's go. Ito yung other-centered. That's the first, alahanan niyo yan. Next is facilitates learning. You are here to facilitate learning. You are not there to teach. I had to learn this as a coach. Ano rin ako, prone din ako to teach dati. You place full trust in their process. So, I think ang masasabi ko dito is, let's say in making mistakes sa mga failures natin and everything else. Ako, I've been learning a lot kasi I've been making mistakes, no? When someone says na, uy, David, ito na lang gawin mo instead of yan. Stubborn ako. Di ba? Halimbawa, nag-open up ako, uy, ano mo ba, gusto kong gumawa ng workshop ng ganito. Sabihin nila, tingin ko hindi mag-work yan, David. Kasi, ano market mo hindi maganda eh. Tapos biglang, tinuturuan nila ako, binibigyan ng advice na hindi ko naman hiningi. Di ba? Ayan, baka may makarelate na naman. Yun dito, you want to fully trust their process. So for me, if creating a workshop and then failing from it will help me learn, and then sure, I'd rather fail than not try at all. No? So in facilitating learning, you want to place full trust in their process. Intindihin mo na, baka mamaya, whatever they're experiencing or whatever they're planning to do, maybe it's part of what they will learn from. And at the same time, baka mamaya it works out. Diba? So, that's what it means to facilitate learning. You're not there to teach. You're not there to give advice. You're there to trust their process, no, and facilitate learning. Later, I'll be teaching more about it. So, ito yung wrong facilitation. Tingin ko ganito na lang kasi dapat gawin mo. 'Di ba? Ang hirap, for some people, ang hirap niyan kasi may somewhat, minsan, we believe na ito yung mag-work sa atin. 'Di ba? Sometimes yung mag-work sa'yo, hindi naman necessarily mag-work agad sa ibang tao. 'Di ba? We're very unique in different ways. So, this is not facilitation, this is just teaching, no, or giving advice na ganito na dapat gawin mo. And that will make it hindi naman sobrang unsafe space, no, pero sometimes that will ruin the trust, no, na ngayon nag-open up nga ako sa iyo, tapos tingnan mo, you're giving me advice. Yung next is zero judgment. Ito, sabi ni Hazel pala. Let's go back. There are cases where they need to be listened to, not necessarily seeking input. Ayan, tama si Hazel. No? Next is zero judgment. You are not there to judge what is right or wrong. Connected na to sa sinabi ni Hazel. No? You are not there to judge what is right and what is wrong. Halimbawa, yun nga yung kanina example, sinasabi mong ito yung tama, ito yung mali, di ba? So, ito yung having judgment na example. Mali ka naman kasi talaga dun. Nag-open up lang sila about something they did. Let's say something they're guilty about or something they're sad about. Tapos bigla kang, let's say, it's about work. No? Tapos sabihin mo, mali ka naman kasi dun eh. Imagine anong mangyayari dun. What would happen in that conversation? Sabi ni Grace, huwag magbigay na advice kapag hindi naman hinihingi. Okay. Sabi ni Jovi Lee, unsolicited advice. That's it. No? Or the I told you so comment, sabi ni Dinces. No? So, this, making this comment, giving judgment, saying what's right or what's wrong in a conversation, kahit hindi hinihingi, it will make it somewhat unsafe. No? Baka hindi na sila mag-open up as much. Baka mag-shutdown. Yun yung nangyayari sa akin. Somewhat I shut down. Okay. So recap lang natin. Okay ba? Ito yung first T natin of the coaching mindset. Other-centered, dapat sila, hindi about you. Dapat you facilitate learning. You're not there to teach. You're there to respect their process, no? Understand their process. And zero judgment. Huwag ka mang judge. You're not there to say what's right or wrong. May mga comment tayo from Shanette. It's like listening to understand, but instead, some listen to just reply. Ayan. No? Minsan, yung iba, they're not there to understand talaga eh. Hindi sila nag-empathize. Minsan gusto lang na mag-reply. Magbigay ng comment. So, okay ba to? Kamusta naman kayo? I want to check in. What do you relate with? Sabi ni Hazel, need to practice and adapt the second mindset to facilitate learning. And for me, no, I think I was lucky enough na I'm doing coaching. So, etong tatlo, I had to learn this for, let's say, 6 months. No? So, it takes time. Pero what matters is, let's say, in a conversation, you can just remind yourself, that's what I do. Diba? And remind ko sarili ko na, oh, it's not about me. I'm here for zero judgment. Gusto ko alisin yung mga bias ko para they feel safe. Sabi ni Mary Grace, other-centered and zero judgment daw learning niya. Need to learn all, sabi ni Carmina. Okay, so this is good. At least you're relating with some. Sabi ni Jai, reminding yourself talaga and put it into action. So yun yung first step actually. Remind yourself of these first, tapos put it into action. Pero to build on that, Jai, how can we practice? Ito na yung action na sinasabi mo. How can we actually practice? Kasi iba lang naman yung you know the mindset. Di ba? Paano mo ipa-practice? So ito na si Paula, need to learn all. How do we learn? Di ba? Lalo na yung zero judgment. These are some techniques na helps me with my coaching, helps me listen well, and also make them feel safe. And I'm just teaching it kasi legit, with everyone I meet, I love teaching this kasi it's very applicable anywhere, even if you're not a coach. No? So how can we practice a coaching mindset in conversations? So, ulitin natin, no? Imagine yourself in a conversation with someone you want to feel psychologically safe. Isipin nyo siya. Sino ba siya? Imagine their face, imagine their voice, imagine whatever they're talking about. And as we go, medyo magpa-practice kayo if you want. I'll give you time as I talk about it. Imagine nyo lang how the conversation might go. Okay? So, here are the 3 things, the simple coaching techniques na I think everyone in the world should know. And I feel like I'll be advocating for it. And these are coaching techniques that I know can help build trust and rapport. So one is cultivating safety. Next is listen actively. And next is asking questions. Ano to? Check ko lang to. Meron nag-comment. Okay. Okay lang. I think start by listening attentively and ask relevant questions, not probing questions that show interest in other person. Okay, thank you, Dinces. Parang you're seeing it in these 3 na, no? What you want to do. So for all of these, I'll be sharing them one by one, but I want you to keep your person in mind, no? The person that you want to feel safe. No? So start tayo with cultivating safety. For cultivating safety, one strategy, kasi yun nga, first step mo is gusto mo they feel safe sa simula. one strategy talaga is to let them know na, "Uy, thank you for sharing these things with me, 'no? Um, I want you to know na ano na, between us lang, 'no? I won't be sharing it with other people para you feel safe. It will only be between us," 'no? So that in itself can help them know na safe mag-share sa'yo, 'no? So, for example, even with my non-coaching clients, even if we're not coaching ta's they share, I always say, "Uy, thank you for sharing. Thank you for feeling safe. I want to let you know na, sige, whatever you share, it's between us lang." Sabi ni Alicia, this is a nice reminder, confidentiality. Yeah, kasi even if friend mo lang or family, sometimes they feel na nasi-share sa iba, lalo na yung family, 'no? Iniisip nila nasi-share na sa buong angkan. Pero you can just let them know na whatever they share sa'yo, it's between you lang. And another way to cultivate safety is acknowledge and validate feelings. So for example, sinasabi na, alam mo ba, I feel frustrated, no? I-validate mo. How do we validate? As in, verbally, sabihin mo lang, yeah, you're frustrated. Frustrate ka. And valid siya with what you're experiencing, no? And last, which is related to the first, what we talked about, yung no judgment, no? Even if, for example, in your head, iniisip mo nang, mali ka naman nun. Even if iniisip mo nun, you try your best, remove it, no judgment, and validate them first, no? Na parang, it's, it's valid what you're feeling. You're sad, you're angry, you're confused. Yeah, kasi confusing naman talaga yung nararanasan mo, no? So this is the first na technique I can give you. You can ensure confidentiality. You can start acknowledging their feelings and also really just remove the bias, no? Balik yung coaching mindset na yung kanina. Next is listen actively. Balik muna tayo sa first, no? Kamusta? How is the first one? Kamusta yung sa confidentiality to ensure safety? Sabi ni Edelino, try to think that they have more ideas compared to you. That's true, no? Imagine na, let's say at their age, whatever age they're in, yung experience nila, whatever experience they have, that's very unique to them. No, sabi ni Dinces, ay nag-comment siya kay Adelino, good one daw, that we can always learn something from others. I like this group, no? They're very open and very learner-centered, how I would call it. No? Uh, Sabi ni Ru, what if in their situation manager, I have to relate to my superior? Ayun, no? So that's where yung confidentiality is. So parang if, for example, you want them to feel safe, tapos they don't feel like they'll feel safe if i-relay mo sa superior mo, they won't share. The question here, Ru, is do you really have to relay it to your superior? Like whatever they share sa'yo. Let's say it's about family or something else. No? Ano ba yung kailangan ba malaman ng superior mo? Di ba? Pwede namang you let your superior know na they're going through something and you understand, and it's not something na they need to know pa. No? If yung superior mo is pinipilit na kailangan ko malaman, no, kahit ikaw, you yourself know na it's a sensitive thing, baka your superior is the problem. So, even your superior needs to understand na they contribute to how safe an environment is. No? If yung superior mo doesn't respect yung privacy or yung whatever they shared as being confidential, baka they're the problem. No? Baka you need to inform them na, alam mo ba, if we want to make this a safe space, ito yung mga need natin. We need to help them feel safe enough to share so we can better understand them. Diba? So, that's my take, no? That's for me. I'm very vocal ako on my take on organizations. Sorry, very when it comes to toxic organizations, may ik talaga ako. Nilalayuan ko sila. And wala akong filter when I say na umalis na kayo diyan. I don't care as much. Um Sabi ni Julia, agree by cultivating safety, they'll be able to feel comfortable in the discussion. Yeah, and like I said, I had a training last week. Cultivating safety starts in a organization. It starts from the top. It starts from the CEO. It starts from the supervisors and the manager. So if yung mga leaders aren't cultivating safety, wala. So that's the problem. Sabi ni Rachel, once they feel safe, they feel more comfortable to share. Yeah. So be a sponge, absorb, but don't spill. You listen to learn, not judge. Validate feelings, not necessarily saying they're right. Just acknowledge that everyone feels free. I like this one. Ito, anonymous response. I believe the examples depend on nature of your work. If your work is critical to people's lives, error is not really tolerated. Yes, that is true. Experience is the best teacher, but if you could have an error-free output, that would lead to a better life for Filipinos. I like this, no? Kasi this is true. Let's say even for, lalo na sa medical, if it's life-threatening, error error should not really, yung parang not be tolerated, no? Medyo strong siya. Pero mahirap pag magkamali kasi life-threatening na, 'di ba? Yun yung isang anonymous comment. So, I like what you said later on, yung um, maybe the best experience is the best teacher in a sense na what if we create a learning experience na they can somewhat fail still, pero in a less life-threatening way, 'di ba? Lalo na for medical fields, no? Ito sabi ni Grace, one of the ethics in psych, once there's danger towards the client or people, it's important not to inform other people. That's true, 'di ba? I wanted to highlight this. If there's danger naman, if in a conversation there's danger in the life of the person you're talking to and other people, you have the responsibility to tell other people who can help kasi life and death na siya. So it's a responsibility, no? So this is a good case of when you should tell someone about it, 'di ba? And for some, let's say if it's risking the organization, you can also tell the supervisor. If risking maybe the safety of the organization and the people in it na, no? So thank you for sharing. I love your comments kasi even it helps with the learning, no? So see, hopefully, ito, psychologically safe space or sharing. Next, listen actively, no? You want to help them feel that you are fully present in the conversation. To be fully present in the conversation. I like this kasi ako, might be my ADHD, pero minsan mahirap sa akin na fully present ako, lalo na kung medyo biglaan yung conversation. Pero, I've been learning techniques and ways for me to be more active in listening. So, ito yung una. You can think about the person na you want to, let's say, have a conversation with while I share this, no? So, isipin mo yung tao na kausap mo and see how this might work. So first na technique is repeating. So repeat back what they say to you. So for example, um, some people will say sa akin, no, David, pagod na ako sa work. Ayoko na mag-work dito. Na uulitin ko lang, I'll just repeat it. Pagod na pagod ka na. So pagod na pagod ka na, ayaw mo na mag-work dyan. Ayun, ulitin ko lang. In coaching, we do this to show them what they're saying. No, pero in your case, it's really to just be present. And for me as well, it's to be present, no, in the conversation. So you can just repeat what they say. Hindi naman yung sobrang obvious, no? So let's say they're saying na, ano ba, I'm really frustrated about this project I have. You can say, "Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating you." Nakaka-frustrate, yung mga gano'n ka lang, 'di ba? So, you just repeat what they say. If let's say ang haba ng sinabi nila, you can repeat the gist of it, 'no? Na halimbawa, nag-share na sila, "Alam mo ba, ganito ganyan, ganito ganyan, ganito ganyan." Tapos parang by the end, you kind of marinig mo na, ano 'to, um, "Gusto ko na lang magpahinga." You can repeat that. Repeat mo lang, "Gusto mo na magpahinga?" Mm. Ta's maghintay ka lang. Hintayin mo yung response niya. Ulitin mo lang, tapos wait. Repeat back what they say to you and then see their response. I like this kasi it helps me like even outside of coaching sa conversations ko. Very awkward ako actually as a person. And these techniques help me in my day to day. No? When I converse with people, let's say may nag-share about their their project or whatever they're doing. Let's say may bagay silang hobby na, alam mo ba, nag-music ako and I'm learning about music theory. Ulitin ko lang, music theory. Ganun lang ako. Ulitin ko lang. That's how I use it in daily conversation. And it helps kasi once I pause, sila na bahala. Sila na yung magko-connect ng kung ano mang topic nila. Sabi ni Jai, repeating is also a good thing to do to confirm if tama ba narinig mo. I like this. No? Kasi when you repeat it to them, let's say yung conversation is, Uy David, ano parang pagod na ako with work, gusto ko na umalis, ayoko na dito. Pag ulitin mo yun, pagod ka na with work, no? Yung naririnig ko, pagod ka na with work tapos gusto mo na umalis kasi ayaw mo na dyan, no? Sometimes in my conversation, they would say, actually ayoko umalis. If I had a choice, gusto ko magstay. Gaganon sila. 'Di ba? And it's because you're repeating what they say, no? And like Jai said, they will confirm if tama ba yung naririnig mo, no? Sabi ni Alicia, guilty raw. Is it good po ba to agree or disagree with what they say? Tapos if they ask you your side, minsan sugar-coated na baka ma-offend. If you're doing the techniques na we have and we want to to make it a safe space, hindi tayo magdi-disagree. Hindi rin tayo mag-agree. No, I agree with you. Pagod ka na and everything else. Hindi tayo mag-agree. Hindi tayo magdi-disagree rin na, ano ba, disagree ako sa'yo. Re-repeat lang natin. So, halimbawa, sasabihin na, ano ba, sobrang nakakapagod na yung work. Bawal tayo mag-agree kasi hindi naman natin alam kung nakakapagod ba talaga. Bawal tayo mag-disagree kasi same case, di mo rin talaga alam. So, re-repeat mo lang. So, pagod ka na ng work, ang dami mo nang ginagawa. Repeat mo lang. Ayan. Sabi ni Catherine, repeating will verify if you got the correct meaning of what they are trying to make you understand. And that's good. I like this. Parang coaches na rin kayo. So, this is the first technique. And then, I think ito, yung sinasabi nila Catherine and everyone else, it's here. No? Clarify if your understanding of their perspective, their dapat yan, na ano ko lang yung his, is correct. So, yung mindset dito is baka may intindi mo is hindi tama. Baka ibang-iba sa iniisip nila, no? Baka mamaya yung idea mo, for example, one of my clients sasabihin na, oh, I just want to be happy with my company, with my work. Gusto ko mataas yung sweldo. Alam mo ba, in my head, as someone who was coaching, if I let my bias win, yung definition ko of mataas ang sweldo is a certain amount. Let's say 50K or 60K. Pero for them, 30. So I had to clarify. Can you tell me more? What do you mean by mataas ang sweldo? And then they clarified na it's 30K and mataas in a sense na they can live and they can spend time with family. So parang you're trying to clarify what they actually mean. So yung mga questions na pwede dito is, uy, I'd like to clarify something. Tama ba yung intindi ko? Correct me if I'm wrong. From my understanding, you're feeling this way and gusto mo nang you're feeling this way with your company and gusto mo nang umalis. No? Am I getting that correctly? No. So that's clarifying. Clarity yan, sabi ni Laura. If something is unclear or you need more information, ask questions to gain a deeper understanding. So ito, parang nag-questions ka na, di ba? So clarify mo lang, tama ba yung intindi ko? Kasi posibleng hindi. Balik sa mindset natin kanina. Other-centered tayo. Other-centered. We want to confirm if sila ba tama yung parang are we understanding where they are at? Sabi ni Alicia, just like counseling, you can also ask follow-up questions. Yes, To avoid misinterpretations then, sabi ni Maria. Okay, next is observing. I like this kasi I learned this a lot after my training and coaching. Um, so observing, I do this as well na, even outside of my coaching, even with my daily conversations, no? I observe nonverbal cues. So, bawa I'm noticing na parang, eto, an assumption to, I'm noticing na parang malungkot sila, na parang yung voice nila, yung parang shy, yung hindi sobrang energetic, yung parang low energy, walang energy makipag-usap, 'di ba? I can mention it. Uy, napapansin ko parang mababa yung energy mo when speaking, 'di ba? That can be an active listening thing, no? Na to check mo yung mga reaction nila. I note ito, sabi ni Rachel, observe their reactions. For example, when they started talking about something they like, let's say, um, one of my coaches would be saying, ano, parang would be sharing about what they like doing. Na, ano ba, I just want to read books. Yung free time ko matters a lot to me. I like reading books, playing video games, and creating my project in biodiversity. Gumaganon siya. I would notice na his energy umaangat. Mas masaya siya. I would mention that. I noticed when you were talking about your hobbies and everything else. Yeah, you lit up, no? And ayan, I brought it up sa kanya and sabi niya, actually, yeah, I'm really happy kasi when I talk about my hobbies, when I talk about what I'm learning and biodiversity and everything else. Gumagalan siya kasi ano siya, client ko siya sa biodiversity. And then ayun, the conversation went from there. So that's a technique na you can use as well, even outside of work, even with your family. No? Kasi sometimes medyo focus lang tayo sa word. Guilty ako nito, yung starting pa lang ako with coaching. Sa words lang ako nakafocus. I wasn't super focused on what they were feeling, no? Sabi ni Grace, just to add, we can also observe the environment, not only the reaction. It can really help in coaching and counseling. Baka kasi minsan, yung environment na mismo ang nakaka-apekto ng client. Yes. So for example, I would have some coaching clients um, who would request now we talk elsewhere. I have a client now we walk together. We walk together when we have our 1 hour conversation and it helps, no? Kasi not everyone komportable let's say sa Zoom, no? So I would observe na low ang energy niya when we're in Zoom and they requested maybe we can walk kasi magkalapit lang naman. Madali lang ako pumunta doon. Sabi ni Alicia, what nonverbal cues can you avoid to convey you're actively listening? What do you mean by avoid, Alicia? I think yon. Like, what do you mean by avoid in this point? Okay, let's move no, to the last part, which is asking questions. Later, mag-converge tayo and talk about it. What you're learning and your comments. Ito, the last part is really asking questions. Instead of our default na mag-advise na, uy, ito na lang gawin mo. Ba't di ka na lang magganto? Ba't ba kasi yan yung ginawa mo? Baka we can make it safer just by asking questions. So simple questions lang, like what are you feeling? What are you learning? How are you? What do you wish to do? Mga ganito lang. So simple questions, yung what, how, where, who, um, lalo na open-ended, no? So, if familiar kayo sa open-ended questions, ito yung maraming possible answers. Yung close-ended, ito yung mga yes or no lang. Masaya ka ba? Yes or no lang yun. Pero you want them to think further. You want them to feel safe to share whatever it is they want. No? So, open-ended yung mga ganito. Mga what, how, where, di ba? Usually what and how. Actually, default ko na lang is what are you feeling? How are you? Yun na lang, 'di ba? So, simple na lang 'to, no? So, as in mabilis na lang siya. Honestly, I would feel like we will be learning more when we do Q&A, no? So, those are it. If we were to summarize, ito yung isang beautiful thing na I saw while I was reading an article, no? This is a story, parang storytelling ni Amy Sabi niya, there was a time before, summarize ko na lang, na meron nga siyang mistake in her work. May mali siya sa data. Tama ba? Um, mhm. Okay. So, she had a mistake in her data. And ayaw niya na i-share yung bad news sa boss niya pero wala siyang choice. No? So, kinakabahan siya on the way. And then when she met her manager to present yung data um, and yung mga na-miss niya, no? Parang she already had like answers to questions na, uy, what went wrong? What could we have presented? Parang she was already preparing for those questions. Parang ito yung sinasabi kong high anxiety, nag-iisip ka na ng mga defense mo and everything else. Pero when she got to her manager, nag-share siya ng experience, nag-share siya ng report, pinresent niya yung data, and parang she shared yung, let's say, yung gaps in it. Yung tanong lang ng boss sa kanya is, what did you learn? No? What did you learn? So this is a very, very um, good mindset and psychologically safe thing to do that I would like every workplace and even households, no, and friendships to have. No, it's more of less judgment and more of facilitating learning. Simple question lang. Oh, what did you learn? No? What did you learn about it? And I think just having that experience with one manager or one person in your family or ikaw, if you're the one who facilitates it, malaking bagay na. So I think ang last ko dito is, baka it starts with you. It starts with you and how you talk with your friends, how you talk with your family, and with other people around you. No? Okay. So to recap everything na we talked about, ito lang naman sila. So ito yung techniques na we have at the end. Um, if you want to build a safe space for someone, the coaching mindset and yung coaching techniques na I shared with you might be helpful. And to recap everything, may benefits. We have benefits when it comes to a psychologically safe space. And then we also have the coaching mindset, at being under-centered, facilitating learning, and having zero judgment. And then last, the techniques na hopefully you can practice as well. No? Cultivating safety, listening actively, and asking questions. So that's it. I wanted to ask your favorite takeaways pero sa Q&A na lang or you can put it in the comments instead para hindi na tayo mahirapan with Menti. So what are your favorite takeaways? You can put it in the comments. Tapos, last but not the least, if you could support Happy Minds, that would be super great. Kasi it's also a business that's starting pa lang. And I'm doing coaching. If you also need coaching, you can chat. If you also feel like you have more questions, I would love to. You can send me an email or a message to the channel. All right. So that ends it. I bring this back to Gabby, Daffy, and Joyce. Thank you everyone for having me. I think Q&A na tayo.
Thank you so much, David, for that very engaging session. You know, Joyce and I were actually talking in the back room and we said na the participants this afternoon were really engaged. Now, you didn't even have to wait for them to respond to your prompts. Meron sila agad mga inputs and personal experiences and also insights that they would
Yeah, oo nga eh.
share with the group. So that's a very good, ano naman, it's a very good sign that nakikita natin yung relevance of building trust, building rapport, 'di ba? And using different coaching strategies to be able to ano. Bantayan mo nga, may sumagot ba dun sa menti mo?
Ay, check ko. Wait
It's
lang.
also nice.
Ay,
Kasi,
hindi ko pa siya na-switch kasi.
switch mo, switch.
Wait lang.
And I
Okay.
really appreciate the vulnerability of a lot of people here saying na they are going to do their best to try it. Na,
Mhm.
hirap sa simula. Wala namang nagsisimula na perfect agad ito. 'Di ba, David?
Mhm. That's
Even
true.
David
Ako.
knows that. Ako din.
Ako, yung simula, ang dami kong bias.
So, I'll practice to do all of this. Empathy can be learned. Ayan. Thank you. A lot of gratitude coming in then. But David, we also already have a lot of questions in our pigeonhole. So
Yeah.
just flash the QR code that you can see on the screen, or Daffy and Joyce will be sharing a link to you in the chat box where you can put in your question. So David,
Dami.
I'm going to give you the floor if you want to answer the top voted one. Or is there any question that jumps out from you? Pero maganda yung first actually because parang this is
Yeah.
super, 'di ba? Na parang how do you validate their feelings without the
Hmm.
gas-gas na phrase na your feelings are valid. May share
Yeah,
lang ako.
oo. Gas-gas na rin yan
I
sa'kin.
Yeah, I talked with someone recently, tapos ang sabi nga niya na parang their boss kept saying, your feelings are valid. Tapos paulit-ulit na siya na it's losing
Nawawalan
its
ng
meaning
meaning.
already. Yeah, actually, hindi nga pala boss eh, parang it's a friend. Parang friends sila na nag-uusap, tapos the friend was saying, your feelings are valid. So parang yung receiving end nung conversation was like, do you really see that my feelings are valid if you just keep saying that? So
Mhm.
I'm from a coach's perspective, how do you validate the feelings of your coaches if ever
Mhm.
they disclose something to you during the session?
Yeah, oo. I think, the fun thing about it is I've had comments na minsan some coaching conversations, minsan na nagiging goal lang nila is they want to vent. And how I don't use this as much anymore is talagang, okay, let's go. Where do you wanna start? Ganun lang. Parang I think being able to validate their feelings doesn't have to be verbal all the time. It can be just providing that space, no? So some of as in yung pinaka nagugustuhan kong highlight with some of my coaches is they just saying, alam mo ba, just being able to talk about it is already good. No? Kasi at the end, I always ask, how has this session been? No? Parang throughout it, I'm just repeating yung mga tinuro ko. I'm just repeating. I'm just asking questions. I'm just clarifying. Um, Tapos, in the end, the goal lang talaga was to vent. And I asked, how are you? Kamusta naman? And they just say, just being able to share is super big na for them. And for me, of course, bawal ako. Hindi naman sa bawal umiyak, pero minsan I feel it, no, na parang, oo nga, no, not everyone has this space to be able to share like their authentic thoughts. Hindi yung filtered, talagang kung authentic na lungkot or galit or whatever, i-share nila. Not everyone has that space. So just
Mm-hmm.
being able to provide that, I think that's on my end. I think is already a way to validate it. Na
Yeah.
parang, yeah, whatever you're feeling, go share. As in, minsan may hesitation sila eh. Uy, sorry dito na sorry naiyak ako. Sabi ko, hindi, go, feel it. What are you feeling? Gaganon lang ako. Yun lang. So,
Yeah.
pwede rin question lang. No? So, what are you feeling? Yun lang. Then, if you don't want to comment, don't comment. It's okay. Maybe just having that space is enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
Mm-mm.
what you said. Sometimes kailangan lang ng sounding board ng mga taong who come to us with their emotions.
Mm-mm. Yeah. I
So,
think lalo na
really,
sa'yo, Gabby, you're doing counseling, di ba?
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oo.
struggle ko din to. Parang feeling ko dapat lagi akong may ginagawa. Pero it's actually sometimes your mere presence that they need. So,
Mm.
I agree with what you said. Pero if
Mm-mm.
gusto niyo talagang may masabi kayo, it's also helpful to be knowledgeable about your emotions. So
Mhm.
like emotional awareness and how you spot it in others is
Mm.
actually also very important. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
So kung nakikita mong upset sila, i-describe mo na I can see that you're upset.
Ayan,
'Di
observing.
ba?
Yeah. I love that,
Parang
Mm.
just really observing, just really naming what they're
Mhm.
feeling without giving any, 'di ba sa katulad ng sinabi mo kanina, wag kayong magbigay ng payo or
Oh,
like i-mo
try
muna.
niyo.
Oo.
Yeah, and ano 'no, I like yung I see that you're upset 'no. It's really observing 'no. And in other words parang, ano ba, I see you. I see
Yeah.
you. You're here. I see you. I'm here. I love that. Mm. Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Nagigets. I really love this question. Feeling ko ang dami ring may ibang tanong niyan. So, we hope that
Mm.
helped. So, there was actually an interesting thing, and I'm not sure if you're up to answering it. Ito, parang for difficult to handle teammates, how do we maintain having that rapport when having to discuss consistent poor performance with them?
Mm.
Hindi po kasi madaan sa empathy and validation.
Mm. So what do you mean, ano, parang what exactly do you mean by hindi madaan? No? Like,
Siguro, yeah.
parang,
Ako yung sumagot para sa kanya, no? Actually, they've been trying the techniques that you've already shared. Pero
mhm,
what if they still see consistent poor performance despite providing that safe space for these people? And if any of
mm,
you would want to chime in, like, you can definitely share.
mhm.
So go ahead, David.
Yeah, I think for this, no, um, una, this may talaga I'm not saying the coaching mindset and the coaching conversation will solve everything. Pero with every problem, it requires you to understand where, let's say, where the poor performance is coming from talaga. No? So, maybe having one-on-ones. So, baka yung providing a safe space is you have one-on-ones where you try to understand. No? Um, like, oh, I see na this has been your performance, let's say in the past 6 months. Um, what what happened there, or um what do you think contributed to that? No? So parang this won't require, parang I think I'm putting my foot ground that the safe space is important no matter what. Wala kang takas dun. It's important. Kasi hindi mo malalaman yung reason for poor performance if hindi. Ang magiging result niyan, if it's not a safe space, alis lang sila. And ang dali umalis ng company, in my opinion. No? Um, so, if you want to be able to better understand how how they can perform better and how you want them to move forward, or how they want to move forward, what can better motivate them to move forward, having the safe space is needed para they're honest with you. Kasi madali magsinungaling. Di ba? Pero you want them to be honest, you want them to feel safe na ito yung mga nangyari. Kaya I have the poor performance. If you don't have the safe space, mahirap yan. So with this, I think this requires a lot of you trying to look at the root cause, no? And it may require yung one-on-ones with the team members, one-on-one with the leader, like understanding saan ba galing. Kasi in this, in what you said, we don't know the full picture. That's the thing. That's the gap, a huge gap na I can see. We don't know the full picture. So it's not na hindi na po madadaan sa empathy and validation. Madadaan yan. Hindi naman sa validation. Sa parang you just need to validate. Pero madadaan yan
Mm.
sa madadaan pa yan sa safe environment. No? It's just that with your situation, you need to look into the root cause pa. Pero if you look at it, if you think about it, you still need the safe space to understand the root cause, the actual cause. That's my take. Kayo ba? What do you
Yeah,
guys think?
there's
Mhm.
actually a good answer then here in the chat box na give
Mm.
some constructive feedback based on observation.
Mhm. Right.
Also, so it's also giving tough love, sabi nga ni Vincent. And may
Mhm.
add si Jojo, sabi niya, you may need to probe deeper and let them know how you can help. So I think it
Mhm.
also goes back to what you said na, what do you think are the barriers for them to perform well? Di ba? Kasi yun yung
Mhm.
sa picture eh. Bakit nga ba sila nagkakaroon ng poor performance?
Mhm.
So,
Right.
hindi lang naman siya sa pagsabi na, hey, you're doing, parang you're not reaching your targets. Diba?
Mhm.
So, but
Mhm.
what are you also, parang ano yung root cause, sabi mo nga, di ba?
Mhm. Yeah.
The root cause of the poor performance. And lalabas lang yon if there is a safe space. Kasi baka
Yeah.
mamaya it's a
Mhm.
skill problem or it's
Mhm.
a company support problem that they need na hindi rin nabibigay ng company. So it
Mhm.
can be a
Yeah.
lot of things, pero these
Mhm.
conversations really do need that level of safety so that they will be
Mhm.
able to
Yeah,
discuss.
and also ano din na parang even with feedbacking kasi it's a company, it's moving forward, no? It's not always no one-on-one tayo. No, there are systems, you can create systems for feedback, no? Pero those feedback systems can still be safe spaces. Hindi siya yung dediretsuhin mo or ano to, papamukha mo sila na they're not good at performing. Ba't mo gagawin yun? Di ba?
Maganda
Pero
yung sinabi. Sorry. Go ahead, go
ano yun?
ahead.
Ano yun? Yeah, I
Maganda
think we...
yung sinabi ni Mary Grace na
Mhm.
correct definition yun ng poor performance. Baka
Yeah.
mamaya
Oh,
magkaiba kayo ng interpretation when it comes to
yan.
execution. Di ba parang ito pala yung
Ayan.
interpretation na
Mm.
alam ko, pero yung execution na gusto mo, iba pala.
Mhm.
It can also be, that could also be a cause, di ba?
That's a possible root cause, 'di ba? Parang in terms of expectation, baka mamaya yung ano, yung expectation ni employees ay kailangan lang niya, let's say sales, kailangan lang niya magka-discovery calls every week. Plus,
Tapos yun pala, dapat nakaka-close siya.
oh, 'di ba? Like
Yung
maybe it's the
number.
expectation, no?
Yeah.
So, root cause, yun pa rin talaga yung team. I'm trying to read. Pero ang dami.
Ang dami. Ang
Ah,
ganda nga eh. Maybe, David, we can just answer one more. Are you
yeah,
free
go.
pa ba? Kasi it's
Yeah,
all,
G
I'm
lang.
just mindful na it's already 4:25. What I'm thinking is we can
Yes.
already give them the evaluation form and then we can maybe answer a few more questions
Oh
a
yeah, go ahead.
bit fast.
So, isi-send lang yung evaluation form in the chat. Tapos pwede na kayo sumagot. Pero we'll be answering a few more.
Sige.
You can extend. Oo.
Ano na muna natin. We can flash those. So, mas maaga aanuhin ni Joyce ha. Mas maaga isasara ni Joyce yun. Because it's already 4:30, but I think there are a lot of people who also want to chime in. So maybe, David, while we're showing the evaluation form, you can read through the answers din sa chat um,
Okay.
in the current question. Ang dami.
Yeah. I saw a good comment from Brian. Coach si Brian. Hi, Coach Brian. Looking at someone as a difficult to handle teammate is already a judgment. Inuunahan mo na. That's the thing. Parang, of course, you have the facts, pero thinking about them as, difficult to handle na kasi to, di na pwede idaan sa empathy, that's already a judgment. Um, That's why I'm bringing up the psychologically safe space thing. Kasi having that idea in your head pa lang might already contribute to it in some way na baka it doesn't feel safe anymore. If malaman nila na that's how you think of them. No? I'll read to the comments. No? Sabi ni Renalyn, how to set limits po in terms of validation and empathy in discussing okay, eto. I think ito na yung kanina. No? Next kay Alicia, dito pumapasok yung communication between team members. Yes. For example, if you teach this within your team members, baka mamaya sila mismo, they'll understand whatever root cause or whatever is causing the performance of the team. No? Sabi ni Jojo, starting with acknowledging achievements before reprimanding. Ito yung sandwich method na sinasabi din ni Leandre, tama ba? Sandwich method. Start with something good, tapos give them the feedback. Tapos, something good ulit.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
brainstorming that's happening. So,
Oo nga eh.
we
Parang,
give you options, di ba, to try when you
mhm,
manage this co-worker or teammate of yours.
mhm, mhm.
And David, I'm gonna give you the liberty to answer the next question. Baka may nakikita kang
Okay. Um,
answer.
ano to? Tap, hindi ko na, yung 7 votes ba, kunin natin?
Yeah,
Di
you
ba
can.
parang naka-rank siya? Paano ka mag-build ng safe space sa taong pa-advise ng pa-advise pero paulit-ulit na situation? What exactly do you mean? I'm I'm assuming na um possibly you're in a situation na ang default ng tao mo is advice na nga na advice. um ano 'to, ikaw ba nag-a-advice or siya? 'No? Tapos sinasama pa ulit-ulit din yung situation. Um, I think una, um, what's exactly happening here? Is it because you're feeling na napapagod ka na to continually build that safe space? That's an assumption. That's assumption one. Or is it them na nagbibigay ng advice? No, the thing about this is, I think creating a safe space also requires that mind setting in a sense na ako may ritual ako before coaching sessions. So share ko na. One is I brush my teeth. Second is um, may sort of meditation or prayer ako na just reminding myself na, uy, I have my own biases, my own thoughts, my own feelings na baka i-overpower ako during a session, during a coaching session. Um, I want to at least limit or take away those so I can ensure a safe space para they can share. No? So what I'm getting at is if you're in a conversation with someone and you need to create a safe space, it requires energy. So if yung question mo is because it gets tiring if lagi, it does. No? Nakakapagod siya if lagi. Kaya there's such a thing as knowing whether you're in the right headspace as well. Like thinking about yourself as well. I'm not sure if that captured it, no? Pero in terms of paano ka mag-build ng safe space sa taong pinag-advisean mo na dati pero paulit-ulit, una is hindi ka nga mag-a-advise. Second is if paulit-ulit na, it might drain you. So also be mindful na you can communicate. Alam mo ba, I'm not in the right headspace ngayon. Medyo hirap ako ngayon with my energy to create this space for you. Can we find another time? Yun yung interpretation of this. I'm not sure if tama yung intindi ko. So just let me know. I think we can go to the next one. Gabby. You can PM me kasi nag-share nito if tama ba ang intindi ko. Okay. Ano pa? Ano to? Oh, coaching. We can go to the third if you want, yung coaching. What do you do when you're currently coaching someone to see life in a new perspective, pero during that time you're mentally unstable or going through something? Yeah, I think same. Wala, nasagot na. Yung kanina, coaching or even just having a conversation with someone to create a safe space requires energy. No? So, it will be difficult for you to coach or to have a conversation if ikaw mismo hindi ka okay. So, what do you usually do? Ako, um, I don't always do it, pero what I would do is I would communicate it na, uy, I think this time I'm also going through something and it might affect our conversation. It might make it difficult, una, for them to feel safe and even for me to provide that safe space. No? They can feel safe, pero in terms of you having the energy to use the techniques like repeating, observing, and everything else, baka wala. 'Di ba? So, ayun, I think that's my answer for that question. So, from what I'm hearing, we can go to the next one if you can find the next one, Gabby. um, we have to understand na talagang these things require energy as well. No? Lalo if you're doing it one-on-one. No? So, you also have to be mindful of your own energy. Hope that answers the question, to the one who sent it. What's your next one? Mm,
The top voted one is this, pero it's
mm,
similar with, I think, the previous ones, unless there is
mm.
you want to add. Parang how do you deal with toxic
Okay.
people? Is it
How do
better?
you deal with toxic people? Is it better to confront them or flee from those people who disturb your mental health? So, when it comes to conversations, ikaw rin, you have, of course, you have the freedom and the right to, let's say, choose who you create, hindi naman who you create that space for. Like, it's always open for anyone naman. Pero, in terms of your energy management, I also like the energy management topic. You always have to ask yourself, yun nga, if you're in the headspace for it. No? Is it better to confront them or flee from those people? It's a situational thing again. So, situational yung ganto. So if I were to ask you, what would you rather do? Would you rather work with them? Like, um, what what are you inclined to do? To work with them or flee? If you want to work with them, not really confront, no, pero to work with them and like continue to work with them, yeah, I respect that. If you think na you should flee or protect your peace, that's my wording for it. I respect that as well. Choose your battle, sabi ni Orya. No? Thank you for sharing that. No, I think yun. Choose your battle. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Ano pa?
I think this is something na hindi naman na-discuss mo, pero at least you have you have different experiences when it comes to being a certified coach. So maybe you can
Mhm.
and
So,
lighten
and
things
dito
up.
si Coach Bal. How to become a certified coach like you? Ako, I'm not a it depends on the certification. The thing with it is it's not regulated. So, walang required certification for it. Pero with my practice, pa-plug in ko na yan sila Coach Val. Sa organizational leadership coaching sa SOLA, they taught me the competencies I know, what I'm teaching, and also yung code of ethics and competencies of like the gold standard of coaching, which is from the International Coaching Federation. So for me, I went that approach of learning the best way of doing it and trying to get myself assessed. So I'm getting assessed. Halimbawa, na if I send a recording to an assessor, tapos they let me know, okay, anong part ng coaching mo yung pwede improve. So that's my approach. So in terms of my certification, it's with SOLA once I complete the assessments. There are other certifications like the one I took recently, which is in Gallup, na it's a different sort of discipline, not discipline, pero it's a different tool for coaching naman. So it really depends on your approach. If you're looking towards a really globally known certification, you can go into ICF, International Coaching Federation, accredited, mga ICF accredited courses. Wala pa ako nun, planning pa lang. Or you can go to, let's say, sa SOLA, pa-plug ko lang. Kasi kasi they're teaching a standard of it and I love it. Para it helped me do it ethically and um like make sure na I'm doing it the right way. So, kasi yun nga, I would say na in some, let's say, coaching trainings, nag-a-advise pa rin, no? Pero for me, I see the value of being able to, to create a safe space and to be able to trust your client fully na they know the answer. They know the answers for themselves. So I think yon, no, in terms of becoming a certified coach, you can check SOLA or pwede kayo mag-email sa akin. I sent my emails. I-connect ko na lang kayo to whoever. Uh, yeah, I think we can move. We can find another one. Wow, ayan, Rachel Sola. Ang galing ni Dappy.
One more.
PM kayo dyan if you want.
Nandiyan pa ba sila? Ayan.
Dyan pa yan sila, Coach Vian, Coach Bal.
Ayan. David, maybe we can do one last question. And I think we'd
Yes.
love to know your personal journey. Kasi mukhang meron tayong mga interested dito. What ideas or tips can you give to someone who also wants to be a leader or a coach, but is shy and don't know where to start?
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who also wants to be a leader or a coach, but shy or don't know where to start. In this context, like, is it a leader or a coach or like both? Um, in terms of starting, it's honestly because I know na my intention for doing my work is I want to help people, you know. I want to help people understand their full um, like their wholeness. Like ma-realize nila kung sino ba talaga sila and what they can actually contribute and what they actually love doing, what they feel happy about, excited about every day. So, natural na sa akin nun, no, na parang I want to help people. So that's basically how I started, no? And then it led to me being introduced to coaching. So I started learning a framework of coaching, which was honestly not enough. It was good enough to start. Pero later on, yun nga, I got further training from Sola. In terms of knowing where to start, um, honestly, it's taking that leap, no, of just having a one-on-one call. If it's coaching, having a one-on-one call and also testing it out for yourself. So test mo muna for a bit and then see how you feel afterwards. Because if you're shy, ako rin shy ako. Very shy ako. Kaya nga, ngayon ko palang minamarket yung business ko. Um, if you're shy, maybe your shyness is coming from somewhere. No, where is it coming from? Is it because you feel like you want to, you don't know if you're skilled enough yet? No, pero the question there is how will you know? How will you know if you haven't started? So maybe just starting. So for me, how I started is nagwo one-on-one lang ako with people I know. No, so or nagpost ako in a group. Sabi ko, I think it was 2022. Sabi ko, I'm doing career coaching for people who want to transition careers or want to understand what career they want to do. Tapos sabi ko, I'm doing it for free. So that's how I started. Ang dami kong free. No? Kaya in terms of how many people I've coached, I would say 80 plus. I would even say baka, yeah, 80 plus na siguro. No? In terms of hours, more than 100 hours. Pero most of them are free. Then that's how I started. Kaya ngayon in coaching conversations, less shy na ako. No? So I think ayun, in terms of tips on how to get started, maybe learn like the basics of it. Like a simple framework like I could share is grow, no? Like goal, reality, options, and then way forward. And then asking open-ended questions. And ano to, after learning all those, the basics, just start. You can do it for free if you want. Yeah, ano to, Jai, meron pa rin talagang free. Thank you so. Ano ibig sabihin ba? Free. Ngayon sa coaching ko, wala na masyadong free. Pero may sa mga nagte-train, meron. So, for example, ang isang for usually new coaches, nag-free sila kasi they want to practice. No? Yeah. Sabi ni Alicia, can attending Toastmasters be helpful for this? I'm not too sure, Alicia, kasi si Toastmasters more on communication ata siya. Not really coaching. So depends like ano bang course ni Toastmasters. Yeah, I hope those answered your questions. Mm-mm.
Thank you so much, David. Is there anything, any closing words that you want to give our learners this afternoon?
Hala, di ako prepared. um,
Bigyan kita ng time. Papresent mo yung certificate mo.
sige, closing words. I think the topic of building rapport and trust and like just creating a safe space. We have a long way to go as a culture. No, everyone here, I love how, let's say, maybe 60-70% of the 700 people here are passionate about it. We have a long way to go, pero I think the valuable thing is each of us wants to start. No, so it starts with you. Ayan yung cheesy line. It starts with you. So maybe you can practice it on your own and see how it goes. And start the ripple, like kay Positive Workplaces. All right. I think that's
Thank
it.
you so much, David, for reminding us that it really starts with us. And David already gave you some starting tips on how you can develop those coaching skills. Para pag nagpunta kayo sa certification, you're just really going to refine those
Mm.
things, di ba? And like, male-level up siya when you attend those different coaching activities. So again, thank you so much, David, for always being open to positive workplaces. Kahit iniwan mo na kami before, you're still open and still an
Grabe ka naman.
of the organization in promoting those positivity ripples. So we'd love to award the certificate of appreciation to you. And let me just read the citation that the certificate is issued to David Esteliore for generously providing their time and expertise as a resource speaker for the webinar, Building Rapport and Trust Communication Strategies for Effective Coaching, held on the 20th of March 2024, signed by our Chief Enabling Officer, John Baluyot, and our Chief Wellbeing Officer, Nikki Vergara. So para sa mga nasa Zoom pa, let's give David a warm round of applause, virtual applause. So
Let's go.
they're all saying thank you and expressing their gratitude to you this
Thank you
afternoon.
everyone for being here. Mm-mm.
Ang dami naming natutunan. Parang ilang beses nang it's so nice to hear those tips repeatedly coming from different people kasi it's always a different perspective each time. So thank you again, David, for gracing us this afternoon.
Yes, thank you everyone. Let's go. Sorry.
Ayan. You know,
Hindi ko alam paano i-end eh.
feeling. Di ba that feeling of ending a session. So thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. So next week, we'd love for you to join us again for our last webinar this March. And we will be joined by John Stephanie Fillard, and she will be discussing carrying the invisible burden, understanding the mental load, and how to manage it well. In fact, David and Joy are friends. So David can
Yeah,
vouch
oo.
for Joy in our
Mm-mm.
conversation.
Yeah, and yung questions nyo on when do you know when you want to work with a toxic person and yung mental like you're doing your mental health stuff. I think tama ba? It will be
Yes,
related.
dun sa
Yeah.
'di ba parang we have different roles in life and that takes up
Mm-hmm.
a load in us. So if you want to know how to balance it, if you want to know how to put boundaries, healthy
Mm-hmm.
boundaries, take care of your well-being, that's the topic next week.
Go for it. Mag-sign up na ako ngayon, guys.
And thank you so much, David. So, for those of you who are still here, please join us on LinkedIn so that we can continue this conversation. You can just scan the QR code that you can see on the screen, or you can just quickly click on the links that Daffy has posted in the chat box. We are also on YouTube, so if you missed today's session, if you missed the previous month's sessions, they are all on YouTube. So if you want to rewatch them, or if you want to take note of some parts that you missed, you can definitely do it in our channel. I also saw someone asking for giving handouts. We usually don't give handouts during our free webinar series because the sessions are posted in our YouTube channel. So just scan the QR code that you can see on the screen. Make sure that you have clicked on subscribed, and parang dapat tama ba, Daffy? Kailangan yung notification button naka-on din para tuwing may bagong post sa Positive Workplaces, makikita nyo agad.
Yeah, yung akin actually, yung screenshot, naka-on yung notification doon. Tapos nag-notify siya sa akin na live yung Positive Workplaces. So, make sure to click on the notification button din.
Yes. Diba? Para yun yung alarm nyo. Pag nakalimutan
Mm-mm.
email na meron tayong session for that Wednesday. And lastly, we're going to hold a positive communication course this coming April. So we've been building connections and communications for this month because next month we are offering this course. And if you want to join us, our early bird rate is, hindi ko alam kung na-extend pala to, pero you definitely can enroll for 11,000 per person for early bird, and then our regular rate will be 13,000. So this is very exciting kasi nag-include kami ng bagong module on this, and it's about being a mindful communicator. And dito papasok yung paano ba natin pwedeng i-validate yung emotions ng ibang tao? How do we show up for other people? How do we manage our own emotions when we communicate with others? So that's definitely something to look forward to next month. If you have any questions about the course, please send us an email. We'd love to entertain any of your questions. And if you want us to run this course in your own company, we can also do that as well. Okay, so for those of you who have not yet, para lang sa mga hindi pa nakakasagot ng ating evaluation form, you may do so right now. We're going to close the Zoom room in a minute. So please make sure that you've saved the QR codes and the links that you have to answer so that you will be able to retrieve your certificates. Again, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and we hope to see you all again next week. Thank you also, Daffy and Joyce, for being here and making sure that our learners have a good learning experience every Wednesday.
Yeah.